so excited you guys are here for our May 15th for our tropical workshop. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day and that you were able to make your mom feel super special. For all of those that chose Blume Haus Fine Flowers to help their mom celebrate, we thank you so much. It was really an honor to be involved in such a special day with you and your family. Just a reminder for those of you who had their workshop delivered or shipped, we still have the Design the Box Challenge where you can color your box and design it. And we're doing that through the rest of the month. And you just do hashtag BH Design the Box in order to so we can see it and get everybody in there and get it voted on. And the winner will get a free workshop. So hi, Mary. Thanks for saying hi and being with us this morning. So let's get started. You should have your vase with some water in it already. You should have your clippers or good scissors. If you like the ones that we're using, they're normally not this dirty, but these are really special shears that we absolutely love here in our shop, and you can buy them on our website underneath the Our Favorite Things tab, and it will just take you to the Amazon link to buy them if you enjoy your workshop and want to do them with us more. So many of you guys have gotten these and have commented on how good they are. I mean, they seriously just cut through stems, especially those bigger stems, just like butter. And it's also a very clean cut, so it's really good. It's not like crushing your flowers or anything like that. It's a nice clean cut for your flowers. Remember to disinfect these in between uses because bacteria can build up on them, and then that can make your flowers go bad fast. And we want to do every little tip and trick in order to get our flowers to last the longest. I always have a towel handy for any like water messes, and I've seen several of you like preparing your space with paper towels or things like that. That's a fantastic idea. And then we should have our flowers. I am so excited about this tropical one. Tropicals usually last a whole lot longer than traditional flowers. So you'll see like your roses and hydrangeas go faster, and then the others you can just like take out those roses, and then the rest of it will last even longer. So let's go through and undo our bundle and get it in front of us and go through what we have. We have hot pink regular roses. We have yellow billy balls, and the more official name for them is Casperdia, but we like to call them billy balls. Then we have, our hydrangea. These are mini green hydrangeas, so they are smaller, and they're not big and fluffy like regular hydrangeas. These are mini green. And they won't get any bigger than this. They might bloom just a hair bit bigger, like the inside that guy, but they're not gonna get big and fluffy. Then we have something really, really fun. These are called pin cushion protea. So part of the protea family, which is also part of the succulent family. They're all cousins. And these guys, they're just gonna last and last and last. And you can also dry them this way too. Then we have our ginger, and this is super tropical. This is what you see in a lot of typical tropical things. It's up to you if you want to leave any leaves on them. Like mine is not fantastic, so I'm not going to leave him on, but we'll clean him up in a minute. Also, a really fun thing about the ginger, if you run your hand over him, it's going to release the sweetest scent. And these are really hardy. They're not like rose petals, so you're not going to damage them like you would if you were doing this to a rose. So enjoy it. Doesn't smell my hand, but you're just releasing the oils from within, and it's really, really fun. Next, you should have your birds of paradise. And so some of you might have them super close like this, and we're going to teach you a little trick on how to open them here in just a second. And then you have your Asparagia leaves, and these are called variegated because they have the lines through them where it's slightly lighter. Just like some of the other greens that we've had in other workshops, this is called variegated. Sometimes they can come fully green, like this one is. And then other times like if you ask for it, it can have all these beautiful stripes in it. And I prefer variegated things usually because they add a little bit more drama. So we're gonna set those to the side. Let's work on cleaning everything up. We're gonna start with the things that are a little easier. Let's go back to our roses. We're going to take off the petals right at the base because sometimes if you pull like from out here, you're going to pull things that shouldn't come off with it. If you get big thorns like this, you can just push them to the side with your thumb, and that way it helps eliminate or minimize the chances for you getting stuck. Everyone say hi to Liz, monitoring the chat for us. She is one of our lead wedding designers. If you're doing a large event or a wedding, you would be talking with Liz. And we're so glad to have her on our team. Next, we're going to, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. You're going to take off the guard petals, which is what I just did. I'm just working as I talk. So these are petals that are around the base of your rose that are damaged or broken, and they're there exactly for their namesake, to guard the rest of the rose from getting damaged. So as our job as florists is to take off of that so you don't see the dirty guard petals. And you're gonna pull them off right here at the base, cleanly like that. You don't want like a broken petal just hanging there because that's unnatural and that's not pretty and it's distracting. Now these little green guys are called the calyx, and that's what the flower formed in. That's the bud that you see. And if they are fine, if there's no crease, no damage, then you can just leave them. They're not going to really get in your way, even if they're pointed down. Unless they're damaged, we don't need to do it. But if you do want to take them off, you, again, do it cleanly from the bottom. And I kind of use my fingernail to get that started and a nice, clean break. We don't want to see something like that guy just hanging out there because that's broken and not natural looking. So we're going to take them off cleanly all the way at the base. And then now that we've taken off our guard petals, we're going to turn them upside down. We're going to give them a little twirl in between our fingers to help open him up. And then if you aren't satisfied with how open he is, you can slightly blow in the center of him. Right like that. So cleaned up rose, regular rose. So if I were to clean up his guard petals, you'll see how much more open we got the other one. And now that doesn't take away from his life. It just allows us to enjoy his beautiful face longer. So go ahead and do that with all 3 of your roses. Peel off the petals and any thorns you might have. Clean up the guard petals. If you happen to have a damaged petal on the inside, but the whole rest of the rose is fine, you can just wiggle your fingers down inside and pluck him out cleanly. All right, and that way it preserves the life of the rose by getting out that damaged rose or petal. These hot pink roses are a super favorite of mine. They're so versatile. They go with so many different colors. And they open up big and beautiful. These are called pink Floyds. Whoopsie. So I broke my guy, but that's okay. I'll use him strategically in a little bit. Or I could choose not to use him at all, depending on how my arrangement's coming out. So next we're gonna go to our hydrangea. And remember, hydrangea means water. Hydra wants water. So if for whatever reason your hydrangea came in super droopy, I hope you read your instructions on how to revive him. And when a flower is nice and rigid, that's called turgor pressure. That's where there's enough water in the cell to be pushing out against the wall of the cell, and it makes it rigid feeling, and that's called turgor pressure. So when flowers are droopy, they've lost turgor pressure. So we're gonna do the same we were doing earlier. We're gonna take off the leaves down right by the stem, and usually just by pressing down on them is the best way. And as you can see, like this guy has a lot of leaves here at the top, and we're gonna kind of pinch them off. So just be very careful when you're pulling them because you could pull that whole little branch and snap him right off. I like to clean them all up. It's up to you if you wanna leave a couple just for an accent. But otherwise, I usually like to clean them all up. And especially if they're broken. Awesome. So now we have our 3 cleaned up hydrangeas. Those to the side. Your proteas, you don't have to do anything with unless you have any little broken tines. You can peel those off, but I mean, I usually tend to leave them. That's part of the natural look of them. They won't look awful in your arrangement. Then on your ginger, if you don't like the little leaf that's coming up, we're just gonna snip him right off at the base where he's connecting. I would not pull him off. Oopsie, there we go. All right. Right like that. And so this guy comes and connects way far down. So I'm going to go down as far as I can to get him off cleanly. Right like that. So I don't have any like little hanging piece. It looks like it just naturally curved up like that. And I really like the scent of the ginger. So I'm going to, great. Okay, I'm gonna put these to the side. Next, we're gonna go to our birds of paradise. Oops, and there goes the leaf. So if yours are tight like this, I'm gonna show you how to open them to where he looks like this. What a bird of paradise should look like. So you've got 2 leaves on either side of your flower. And we're gonna basically peel it back just a little bit to allow for the flower to kind of pop out, and then we can fan him out a little bit. So I know this is gonna be really nerve-wracking, but find the fold, right like that. I'm gonna cut this guy a little shorter so you can see what I'm doing. You find that little fold here and just kind of peel him back a little bit, and then run your finger down towards the tip. And as you get to the tip, you can kind of break it a little bit. It's basically breaking a seal, okay? See, he's already starting to pop out a little bit. And then go wiggle your way to the other side and find that little flap. There we go. You're not gonna hurt him too much, all right? And then just wiggle your finger down there, down along the side, and go all the way up to the top. See, he's already wanting to emerge to the tip, okay? And then just keep wiggling your fingers down in there to kind of release him. I know this is super nerve-wracking. All right, now as you can see, he's kind of wanting to emerge, so I'm just gonna help him peel him up just a little bit. Right like that. There we go. So it's up to you on if you want him to get super fanned out or not. This guy looks like he's a little bit young, so I'm gonna leave him just like this, and he's gonna start to fan out as he matures a little bit more. But now I at least see my color in it. I'm going to do that to my other one too. This one's a little bit bigger. Looks like he's a little bit more ready. So within this line right here, you see my little fold. Wiggle my finger down and blow all the way to the top. And then go to the other side. Get my finger down in there. Just help him release. Yes, just go slow. That's great advice from Liz. Here we go. I'm gonna help him come up. Right like that. Beautiful. Alrighty, I'm gonna do it. As he matures, you'll also see that little blue part. So if yours has already come up a little bit, you can still help him release the other flowers that are down below by doing the same thing. Opening up and letting out more of those beautiful flowers that are tucked in there. They really like to be hidden in there. We just go really slow. There, see? Now we've got two beautiful, birds of paradise. All right. Now that we have everything cleaned up and ready to go, let's bring our vase over. Now you're going to design it facing you. I'm going to design so you can see it. All right. So we're going to start first with our ginger, because that's going to be one of the main points of it. And you want your arrangement to be proportionate with the vase that you're designing within. So you don't want, in the taller vase, you don't want something teeny tiny, short like this, nor do you want it super, super tall because it's not proportional. So usually you want to go at least 2/3 to the same height as your vase. So this particular ginger looks to be almost about the right size. Yeah, we could cut it just a hair. So I'm measuring how tall my vase is. And then that's where I want the top of him to be. So now when I'm measuring here, I want him to be this tall out of my vase. So now I know I can cut off about this much. And we're going to do that at an angle. Again, it helps for several reasons. That it helps with water flow. You have more surface area to take up water, and it's not sitting flush against the bottom of your vase and kind of cutting off that water source. We're just going to set them in here like that. And then our next one, we're going to try and have like this, so he can be just a hair taller. You're going to cut him at an angle. I'm putting him slightly behind. Don't worry about him flipping, flopping. As we fill in our vase, we'll be able to rearrange. And then this guy, I want him to be just a little bit shorter and a little bit steeper of an angle, or I can have him more in the middle. Measuring again, probably need to cut a little bit more. It's always better to cut longer, because you can always cut a little bit shorter. You can't necessarily get it longer later, especially in an arrangement like this where we don't have oasis to help us. So this will eventually be how he looks. So next we're going to take our leaves. Oh, and one fell on the floor. And I'm going to choose my shortest one, and I'm going to put him to the side. And then my 3 longest ones, I'm going to put behind my ginger, right like this. To offer a backdrop for it. And I'm not going to hide him behind my ginger. I want him to be a little bit more over here, okay? Perfect, right like that. Again, don't worry if they're moving around on you. As we fill in our base, things will get a little easier. Next, we're going to take our birds of paradise, because that's also going to go back here in the back. And we want them to be a little bit taller, the first guy, but we don't want him to be any taller than our ginger. Let me back you guys up just a little bit. Here we go. All right. So, for example, this guy, he's probably going to be okay. So I'm going to leave him there. And again, it's all right if things are moving on you. And then this one, we're going to want to be just a little bit shorter. Okay, so we're measuring. And then come down to the bottom of your vase to mark where you're going to need to cut it. And again, at an angle. And then we're going to put him right like that. Next, we're going to do our hydrangea. And these are going to be a little bit lower and around here. So our first one is going to be towards the bottom of our birds of paradise. So we're going to measure where we want him, down here, and give him a little snip. So he's a little bit too tall. I want to get him a little bit closer to the top of my vase. I'm going to give him another snip. Basically, so the bloom is resting on top of the lip of the vase right there. All right. And then the next one, we're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to measure. Right like that. Nice and tight in there. Perfect. All right. And then it's going to be up to you if you want your third one in there or not for a little bit of height that we can put him right in here. I'm going to wait on mine because my hydrangea were already really big. So I'm going to see if I want him in later. I want to make sure I still have room for my hydrangea or my roses and my protea. So now that we have our vase a little bit more full, we can move things around to get them to stay a little bit more where we wanted them. There we go. Right like that. Perfect. All right, so for our protea, since we already have kind of orange on this side, we want to make sure that we have orange on this side. So we're going to put him kind of more up here. One there, and then things in nature like to be clustered. So I'm going to put him a little bit below him and to the side. Nice angled cut. Work your way in there. Right like that. Perfect. All right, and now our roses. So remember I had this little broken guy, so I'm going to put him a little bit lower down here so he can still touch the water. And he was going to go in that general area anyway. And then I'm going to put one on this side and then one up here a little bit more. There we go. All right, we'll measure. We'll need a little snip there. Right like that. And then I'm going to put the other one in front of my ginger right over here. That way we have a little bit of the color on both sides. Perfect. Then you've got your little billy balls, and these are kind of the finishing touch on them. And you can feel free to put them wherever you want. And normally in any of our other workshops, I've always said that we don't want things like super sticking out. However, this is definitely a different kind of arrangement. So they certainly can be sticking out wherever it is that you want a touch of the little color. So sticking out right like that. And I'm going to put one over here. Like that. And you definitely want to vary the heights of them though. You don't want them all the same height because that would look a little odd and awkward. And I usually never put one straight here in the middle sticking out like that. So we're going to do either a little off like that or like that. Now I still have this one hydrangea, and I can see my asperidia is having a little difficulty standing up. So I'm going to use him on the back side. And if you want to do that, fine too. And get him to stand up a little bit. I'm going to turn him around and show you what I did. And that's okay. We often use other flowers to, or greenery to help improve the overall look, even if they're not seen themselves. Now, if you have your one last leaf, you can actually do a little trick, and you can bend him over right like this with the stem, and then tuck the whole thing in over here. You kind of bend it around the stem and just find your way in there to tuck him in. I overfilled my vase, so it's overflowing a little bit. Right like that. And there you have your tropical arrangement. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with yours and how yours came out and your smiling faces with them. Remember to water them with not soft water. You want water from your hose is best. And remember to post them on your Instagram or Facebook and tag us with Blume Haus _ Fine Flowers on Instagram. And then on Facebook, it's just Blume Haus Fine Flowers. You'll also get an email here in just a little bit with the discount code for our next one. It's going to be 20 Memorial. And we're going to be making this little hot number for Memorial Day. So it's hard to see because it's bright, but you've got beautiful ranunculus, you've got roses, and then delphinium. And then we're going to be making it in this beautiful ceramic vase with this little ribbon accent. This is going to be included. I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. Just as a way to honor our veterans and remember those who have faithfully served our country, and just be a little nice accent for your Memorial Day weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I can't wait to see all of your pictures with your smiling faces, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.